Grandma find a comfortable spot. We got high school football and it's coming out hot. Now here we are and the lights are shining bright. It's always been. Yeah, WAAY 31 is rocking all right.
Big game Friday night. Max Cohan, Trevor Denton.
It's the McCurry Van and Car Rental. Big game Friday night.
It's Survive and Advance in 6A. Hartzell and Buckhorn meet again in our playoff game of the night.
While out in Guntersville on Thursday night, the Wildcats and Bulldogs battled in a thriller you need to see to believe.
We have made it to the playoffs. Hello and welcome into a very special playoff edition of Big Game Friday Night. I'm Max Cohan and he's Trevor Denton. When the season started in late August, coaches had tonight circled on their calendar.
Max, every team wants to play extra games. Some don't get to do it. Others get to play just one. And in this second season of sorts, no one came this far just to come this far. Out at J.P. Cain Stadium, Buckhorn's new head coach David Green was hoping to pull off the upset over Hartzell and get the Bucks their first playoff win since 2005. The Bucks have actually never beaten the Tigers, and the Tigers felt pretty good about this one, getting some high stepping done early on. Hartzell already up 16-0 when Carter Lee finds Kane Falciani. He's got some different speeds in his running arsenal, changing it up, taking it to the outside in the pouring rain as he heads towards the end zone. Not quite there, but a big first down, first and goal. Lee hands it off to Jaden Morris. He bursts up the middle from a few yards out, 23-0. Tigers with the lead, looking to pile on third and goal from the 3, but Buckhorn's Davion Senegal gets some air, tips the pass. Look at that, the big man, number 0, Cortez Carr, right place, right time. The sophomore puts the burners on, picking up some blocks along the way as he houses it 97 yards, the big man touchdown. It's still 23-7 at the half, though, and in the third, the Tigers go back to the ground game. Jaden Morris again for the touchdown. Hartzell wins 33-7.
It feels great. Our kids played great. There's one play right before the half where they had an unbelievable talented linebacker that picked one off, took it to the house. But other than that, we were pretty solid on offensive defense. Special teams played great, so I'm very happy with the first round. You know, we're ready for the next round. I have no idea if we're going to play yet. I didn't even heard any scores, but these guys, as long as they still want to play, we'll keep playing.
That makes it 4 straight years that the Tigers have made it past round 1, and that's also their first 10-win season under head coach Bert Newton. Yeah,
not bad. He's only been there 2 years, and they have 19 wins and counting. By the way, coach wasn't sure who they'll be playing when he spoke to us. They'll be Homewood in round 2. So now with our game of the night out of the way, we've got to get you taking through everything in the playoffs from 7A down to 1A, regardless of if the game was played Thursday or Friday. We'll start things here in Madison County, where after the regular season ended in a 4-way tie, the Sparkman Senators emerged as the 7A Region 4 champs. Ronnie Watson and the Senators playing an extra game for the first time since 2021, hosting Daphne and Harvest. The Sens drive right down the field, and on 4th and goal, Braylon Lawson fights his way in to get the party started. But the Sens would have some trouble on defense trying to slow down the Trojans. Daphne goes to the Wildcat in the red zone, and Braylon Williams goes in untouched on the touchdown, but they can't convert on the 2-point attempt, so Sparkman still leads by 1. That is until Malachi Norman comes in and boots a field goal, giving the Trojans a 2-point advantage in the second. Sparkman's offense would stall out and Daphne would burn their defense. Christian Seeger hits Jason Miles on the slant, and he turns on the burners, leaving the Sens in his dust on a long score, putting the home team in a 9-point hole. Daphne would send the region champs home 43-14.
Another team that made things interesting in Region 4 was James Clemens. In year 1 under Juan Johnson, the Jets had to forfeit a game at one point. Then they got crushed by their rivals Bob Jones, but that didn't stop them from making it back to the playoffs. James Clemens looking to light up Fairhope in Madison tonight. Their defense gives them a ray of light here. Fairhope in the red zone, but the Jets fly into the backfield, forcing a turnover on downs. But they couldn't keep the Pirates from their treasure for much longer. Trey Garner goes for all the booty, launching one downfield to a diving Brian Martin. What a grab there. This play was also very impressive. The snap is high, but Garner tips it to himself. Now the scramble drill, and Martin hits the turf again for another highlight reel grab. JC answers with a promising drive of their own. MJ Gideon keeps churning for more yards, but the Pirates eventually pop the ball out, and there's Lance Wade on it for the recovery for the visitors. Nice comeback for the Jets this year, going from 2-4 to the postseason, but Fairhope ends their season with a 31-21 win. For a moment, it looked like the Florence Falcons would be hosting a playoff team. Instead, Kenny Morson's squad hit the road to take on Baker Juan Johnson's old team, and in the end, the Hornets win this one 38-14. While North Alabama's 7A team seemed to struggle in the postseason, the Austin Black Bears are always in the fight under Jeremy Perkins. The team had only missed one postseason since 2015, but they have yet to win a playoff game in the state's highest classification.
Taking on Mary Montgomery, Austin hoped to end that first round exit, but that streak holds. Mary Montgomery wins 45-7. The Trojans and Jaguars only had two previous meetings. Both were blowout wins for Muscle Shoals. Scott Basin's team has made it past the first round every year since 2022, and they had no interest in letting the Jags stop them. Now, it's not often you see a running back score a touchdown backwards, so give Davian Reynolds some style points and 6 actual points. And from there, it was easy for the Trojans. Cade Clemens buys time and finds Will Vance in the far corner of the end zone. That one will make it 14-zip. And with a 38-12 win, Muscle Shoals will face Parker in the second round. Staying in 6A, Athens and Fort Payne met again. Since 1992, the teams had played 5 times. All of those were wins for the Golden Eagles. The only win on the Wildcats ledger came in a game they didn't play, a forfeit back in 2020. But Fort Payne gets the win again, 38-23. They'll host Mountain Brook in the second round. All right, we've got to blow the whistle for a quick timeout, but don't go anywhere.
We'll take you back out to Guntersville for one of the best games of the year, right after the break.
You're watching Big Game Friday Night. Go Jets! Go
expect Guntersville to be in the playoffs year in and year out, and since 2013, they have not missed a postseason. Their opponent cannot say the same. Priceville struggled in year one under Seth Parker, but now they had a shot to make things interesting in the 5A playoffs. These teams meeting for the first time since 2009, and Guntersville looking to give the home crowd something to cheer about. Garrett Christie turns on a dime, changes direction. They get across the goal line for the first score of the evening. Priceville was down 7 at the half, trailed by 2 scores in the final minutes of the fourth quarter. But what a miraculous comeback. Long touchdown pass and a successful 2-point conversion, and suddenly, folks, we're going to overtime. And after Guntersville missed a field goal, Landon Byer walks it off with 3 points of his own as the Bulldogs stun the Wildcats 24-21.
Back in the 5A bracket, Tyler Van has led the Wildcats to back-to-back region titles, and then he hoped to get them to the second round for the second year in a row. Scottsboro and West Point meeting for the first time on Thursday at Trammell Stadium. We jump in with the Cats already up a score and running the Wildcat. Here comes Jaden Gilbert flying in to make it 14-zip. Later, already up 3 scores, Van keeps his team in high gear. It's the Connor Baden dark side move, and the Cats advance with the 45-14 dub. They will play a second round game.
When you think of North Alabama's playoff regulars, Russellville has to be in that discussion. The Golden Tigers have only failed to make the postseason twice since 2000.
Tonight, they look to reach the second round for the first time under head coach Dustin Goodwin. It's Russellville and Boaz at Tiger Stadium, and the Pirates get tricky early. Wide receiver Sage Bennett is going to throw it, and he's got Jay Patterson all alone. The freshman picks up the first down and then takes the ref to the ground. A big chain mover for Boaz, and they wouldn't waste the opportunity. Presley Fant gets a block and then stretches the arm across for 6 as X marks the spot in the end zone, but not every quest for booty resulted in a scoreboard update. Freshman Bo Bennett looking deep, and he heaves it towards the goal line, but puts just a bit too much air under it. Russellville's James Ergel comes down with the interception. This was a wild one. Golden Tigers taking in overtime 29-28. They'll play Briarwood in the next round.
The Arab Knights in the playoffs for the 5th time in a row, but they've only made it past the first round once during that stretch. They did have one thing working in their favor Thursday. They were playing Fairview, a team they had beaten all 9 of their previous matchups, but this was the first time they played since 1977 when A New Hope came out, and the Knights couldn't keep hope alive for themselves, falling in this one 14-7. Every now and then, a team comes out of nowhere. This year, one of those teams is Plainview. Dale Pruitt's squad put together an undefeated regular season for the first time since 1999. They made the playoffs for the first time in 3 years. This 4A battle, something you'd see maybe in a zoo. That'd be pretty cool. The Bears and the Lions. It looks like the Lions are going to roar first with a big play. Samarian Coffee takes the short pass, turns upfield, but incredible effort play by Creek Johnson to rip the ball out. Chris Sandlin all over it, giving the Bears a huge early turnover. The Bears also play with physicality on offense. Check this out. Owen Hope keeps it. There's no hope when he's running at you like a freight train like that. Trucks one defender into a different dimension, and he is gone. Now Brooks looking for some hope. This is one of the greatest moments I've seen all season. 57-yard field goal by Charlie Bottoms. What a boot from the senior from midfield. Even the home crowd was impressed, but they were also impressed by what their team continues to do this year. Put them at 11-0 now. Plainview wins 35-12. They'll play Alexandria next week.
Late August feels like so long ago, but it was on the 22nd day of the 8th month of the year that both West Morgan and Randolph kicked off the season. That night, the teams met at Rebel Stadium in a 41-14 West Morgan win. Last night, they bet with a bit more on the line. West Morgan honoring the injured Cole Thorne with a 22 on the field as they try to stay undefeated. The Rebels D makes an early stand, so the Raiders have to punt. Tanner Durbin has trouble with the snap, and then his kick is blocked, and West Morgan takes over deep in Randolph territory. And when you take the ball over there and it's West Morgan, you know what's coming. McCarty Johnson from a yard out, and just like that, the Rebels jump in front. But Johnson, a dangerous player, and he was just getting his night started. West Morgan forces Randolph to punt again. Guess who's back to field it? Johnson hauls it in at the 44 and doesn't stop until he's in for the score. A 56-yard punt return touchdown, and Johnson's second score of the quarter has them up 13. West Morgan would make it look easy as they move to 11-0 with the 55-21 dub. They'll battle Good Hope next. In 4A Region 8, there is a wealth of football knowledge on the sidelines. Tonight, as Hatton met Madison Academy, you had a former Alabama wide receiver leading the Hornets in Nikita Stover, while former Troy quarterback Bob Godsey handles things for the Mustangs.
These two battling for the first time since 1989. The Hornets won all 10 previous meetings. Hatton trying to sneak in a score before halftime to tie it, but the Mustangs hang tough and force a turnover on downs to stay in front 20-13. But the Hornets get the break they need in the third. They're forced to punt, but MA loses control of it on the return, and a swarm of Hornets sting them with the recovery deep in enemy territory. The Mustangs once again with their backs against the wall, but the defense bails them out again, making another critical stop on fourth down, and the defense huge in the second half of this one as they win 20-19, and Madison Academy will play Anniston in round 2.
Out in Tuscumbia, the Deschler Tigers have had a wild season both on and off the field, but everything Patrick Malone's squad wanted to accomplish was still in front of them as they hosted North Jackson. The Tigers have reached the second round in their last 2 tries. The Chiefs haven't won a playoff game since 2018. Keaton Long trying to do anything, but a herd of Tigers stop him in his tracks and then bury him, sending him to the ground. Now Deschler gets a try, and they give the touch pass to Jeremiah Fletcher. Boy, can this kid move. The junior cups upfield and leaves the Chiefs in his tracks for a long Tiger touchdown. The crowd seemed to like that, so they dial up another big play. Price Thornton with time in the pocket. He goes deep to his favorite target, Garrett Reed. And once again, the price is right. The Tigers dominated tonight 42-14, punching their ticket to a meeting with Hamilton. All right, we got to call one more timeout, but don't go anywhere. We've got more great games right after the break.
All right, when you think of playoff success, you can't forget about Fife. Paul Benefield has had the Red Devils playing extra games every year since 2001, with 7 titles during that span. The team has not lost a first-round matchup since 2010, a streak they look to keep going against Lauderdale County. Paul Benefield looking to add to his unbelievable postseason resume that we just mentioned. His name is literally on the stadium, and a lot of his success has to do with elite play at the running back position. Here's Ryder Gibson taking the direct snap, almost running directly into me. You could see a teammate 20 yards behind him already celebrating the touchdown because they know that he's got the breakaway speed, 67 yards. Here's a play involving some speed. Calvin Watkins with a big return for Lauderdale County, maneuvering his way through traffic to set them up near midfield. But Fife, this was all about them. Ryder Gibson again running away from everybody, not even breathed on this play. 65 yards, so Fife wins 34-7.
So the winner of that last one will play the winner of this next one. It's Phil Campbell and Piedmont. The Bulldogs put together a perfect regular season and look to keep it going in the playoffs, and Piedmont wins 59-19. So Fife and Piedmont will meet in round 2. I don't know about you guys, but when I think of Colbert County, I think of the playoffs. Since 1981, the Indians have only missed the playoffs once. Tonight they were back in action against the Collinsville team that's made it 4 straight years. The Indians looking for their first playoff win under Oscar Bonds. The Panthers hoping Ernie Willingham can get them their first win since 2019. We jump in with Colbert County up 31 and looking to add on. Keyshawn Jones takes the direct snap directly into the end zone, and with plays like that, you can understand why they were up so much. Then Frank Hayes gets his chance, and the senior knows he's in the clear almost as soon as he touches the ball. Colbert County cruises to a 64-19 dub. They'll play Gordo in the next round. Veteran head coach Jerry Adcock has led Whitesburg Christian to the playoffs in his second year at the helm.
It's something he did 21 times at Decatur, but this is the Warriors' first ever postseason berth, and their first game just happened to come against the defending 3A state champions from Mars Hill. It happens sometimes. You show up to a Mars Hill game and they're already up by like 1 million. They were up 49 at this point, but the Warriors don't back down. Greer Lavelle looking for the end zone. He threads the needle for a touchdown. What a pass, what a catch, but what a team Mars Hill is as they spoiled Whitesburg's playoff party, steamrolling their way into the second round, 70-14. The Panthers will play the Pirates of Winfield in the next round. Every year since 2007, Geraldine's playoff streak has been intact. Michael Davis has the Bulldogs back in November action this year. Tonight they welcomed Rogers to town. The Pirates looking to knock off the Bulldogs and pick up their first playoff win since 2017, but they couldn't slow down the Dogs' rushing attack. Jesse Ryder keeps it and dashes around the edge. We saw a 90-plus yard defensive touchdown earlier in the show. Now you get one on offense. Look at him go all the way down the field. Number 5 for a long number 6. Geraldine wins 59-27 over Rogers. They'll play Westburg Christian in the second round. We've made it through 5 different classifications, but we can't forget about the little guys.
Yeah, we'll get you caught up on 1A and 2A right after the break.
Do you
Welcome back to our special playoff edition of Big Game Friday Night. Let's take a look at the 2A playoffs now.
Yeah, Falkville hoping to advance to the next round, but it just isn't in the cards as they fall 34-6. Vincent plays the winner of this next one. Out in Pisgah, the Eagles won a region title in year one under Adam Gilbert. Tonight, the coach looked to pick up his first playoff win since his North Sand Mountain days as Pisgah hosted Tanner, and the Eagles fly high 42-14. And as we just told you, they'll play Vincent in the next round.
In August and September, it looked like nobody was going to be able to stop North Sand Mountain. And while two teams were able to hand them losses in October, nothing could stop them from reaching the playoffs for year 11 in a row. But to get it going, they'd have to get past Lexington, something they were not able to get done. Lexington dominant, 52-15. They'll play Coosa Christian next week. Last year, the Red Bay Tigers made the playoffs with only 2 wins. Well, this year they won 8 wins, a little more deserving. And if they could beat Sand Rock tonight, they'd have their first postseason win since 2020. And yes, they got it done, 53-14. The Tigers will take on Southeastern next week.
Down in 1A action, after going 1-9 last season, Shoals Christian made the playoffs with a 4-6 record. This year, the Flame looking to win a playoff game for the first time since 2011 as they took on the Eagles, but they couldn't do it. They got dominated 74-6, and Appalachian will take on Marion County next week. The Woodville Panthers already having the best season in program history. Tonight they hosted Meek, looking for their first ever playoff victory. Woodville in the playoffs for the first time since Tyler Van was their head coach back in 2020, and the Panthers not playing around, knocking at the door. It's Jonas Sparks, and the junior makes it look easy as Woodville strikes first, but the Tigers had some tricks up their sleeves. It's a handoff, but to who? It's Aiden Benson, the senior. Sprints past the line, chills off the stiff arm, and rumbles on in for the score, but they couldn't convert on their try for 2. That wouldn't matter in the second quarter when number 21 bounces to the outside and gets in for 6 to give Meek the 12-7 lead, but the Sparks were flying. Jonah hits Elijah, and the Panthers go back in front, but Meek takes this one 42-25, ending a season for the books at Woodville. All right, we have run out of time, but we just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who helps make the show possible and to all of the viewers for making us your home for high school football. It has been a wild season. We made it to the playoffs. We got a couple teams left. Yeah. Should be interesting to see who makes it all the way to the blue map game.
Plainview undefeated, Madison Academy in the hunt, big win over Hatton. Still a lot of teams from North Alabama still very much in the fight right now.
We got you covered.
You have been watching a special presentation of WAAY 31.